In this episode, we're going to take a look at password management. Having a password safe, sometimes called a vault, can be a simple and effective tool for securely storing your team's passwords. We are going to discuss what a password safe is, why you should use one, and then look at a live demo. We are on the website of an extremely popular password safe for Windows, called, you guessed it, Password Safe. A password safe is essentially a password-protected database where you can store information like logins, passwords, and website URLs. It is great for teams that are required to manage many passwords. Rather than everyone keeping passwords in their heads, you only need to remember the password to the password safe. You might be surprised or even shocked when you start to catalog everything. Once you start using a password safe and someone asks you for a particular password, your default response should be, check the safe. While Password Safe is very popular on Windows, KeePass and KeePass X are very popular on Mac, Linux, and there's also a Windows port. They are all free and open source software to boot. The interfaces are essentially the same, and since I'm running Linux, I'm going to demo KeePass X today. Alright, let me show you what a password safe looks like. When you start the password safe, you'll be presented with a dialog box asking for the password. After entering the password, you'll see a GUI with 3 panes. On the left-hand side, you'll see a tree-like structure. This can be used to categorize or group your passwords. In this example, we're using network, servers, and management, but you can also have subgroups. You can right-click in here to add groups, subgroups, and also add password entries. The right-hand pane is used to store actual password entries. So under the network category, we have entries for routers, switches, and Wi-Fi. You can also add entries simply by right-clicking. Let me just click through some of these menus so you can get a feel for how it works. You can see under the management category, we have entries for things like domain registrars, internal monitoring interfaces, and vendor websites. Let's jump over to the server category and see what a password entry looks like. Here you have the ability to right-click on an entry and copy various pieces of information to the clipboard. This can be useful for pasting the password from your clipboard without actually having to type it. Let's go ahead and open this item up. There's a title field where you can explain what this entry is for. A username, a URL, password fields, and even a notes section. As you can see, the password is obscured, but you can view it by clicking this icon. A cool feature is this gen icon here. This opens up a password generator. By selecting these checkboxes, you can generate different types of passwords. Down here, you can also select the password length. Let's go ahead and generate a password and see what it looks like. I always like to save the database after making changes. A password safe can be helpful to free your mind and improve communication within your group. Now that you know what a password safe is, I hope you'll start to use one. Just remember that when someone asks for a password, your default response should be, check the safe. Alright, that concludes this episode. Thanks for watching. If you would like to get notified about future episodes, please subscribe to my mailing list. You can do this by going to the Get Notified link in the header and entering your email address. Have questions, comments, or concerns about this episode? What about episode ideas? I'd love to hear your feedback, either good or bad. Shoot me an email, justin@sysadmincasts.com.